Have you ever wondered, after retirement, how are you going to live? What are you going to do? Not just about the money, but how are you going to have a life that lives vibrantly? Well, by the end of this video, you will gain clarity for your personal retirement plan and have action items to secure your retirement.
To learn more about securing your retirement and all the different elements you need to know, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified when we post a video every Monday. We have helped hundreds of our clients gain clarity and get on the path to a comfortable and happy retirement. Now it's your turn. Let's dive in.
Welcome, everyone, to our Monday podcast. And in this podcast, and all Monday podcasts, it's really where we go out and we try to find individuals that we feel can bring value to you, as well as to individuals getting ready for and living through retirement. And I do not think that today is going to be any less than exactly what we need. And we have got someone I've known for quite a while, Karen Duncombe. And Karen actually was a coach to me for quite a while, and it was very, very helpful. And she has a business and an approach right now we feel could be helpful to our listeners. So Karen, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us and all of our listeners today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Very good. And Karen, where did you say you're at right now? Where do you live? In what area of the country?
The coast of Santa Barbara. You go in 43 minutes inland to the wine country of Santa Ynez Valley, and that's where I get to live right now.
Oh, wow. That sounds fantastic. Well, that sounds very beautiful. We love North Carolina, but I know that's a very pretty area as well.
North Carolina is beautiful too, though.
Yeah. So the reason why we have connected and wanted to have you on the show is you have a business and a service and I guess a coaching type of an atmosphere that sounds like something that I know is beneficial for individuals as they're thinking about their big transitions in life. And it's called Live Vibrantly. And could you kind of just help us here right in the beginning as to what that is, what you do, how you got to that? Could you give us a little bit of information, kind of the big picture?
I'll give you just the nutshell of how I got to that. So when I started my career, they zoomed me up the ladder and I became a COO of a company. So I had the business background. I decided I enjoyed working with my employees better, helping them become fully able to achieve their potential. So I left that position because it was management. It wasn't working with people. And so I became a psychotherapist, got licensed. I did 3,000 hours to get my license and realized that I really enjoyed business people. So then I got another master's degree in executive coaching and I smashed it all together and I started doing executive coaching for business owners and senior management executives. Then through all that, and I was always very hungry for knowledge. So I'd be down at UCLA, going to workshops, University of Chicago, all kinds of places, learning more about human beings, the latest of everything. And what I realized was that as we get older, as I started getting older, I wanted to find out as much as I could about how to stay fully alive as I got older. And as I did, I realized, oh my gosh, we don't have to become old and decrepit. We really don't. We get to get older, we get to retire and still be fully vibrant and happy and healthy and successful people. So I thought, I need to tell other people about this. So I just started telling my friends and other people, and they said, you need to get this out in the world. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea. So about 8 years ago, that started. And then there were people that I had worked with and coached who loved the idea. And they all sort of teamed up with me and they said, we're on board with this. And so we created Live Vibrantly. And it's for people who, as they go through life, they want to not just work on being successful in business, but they want to be happy and healthy along the way. So that's basically what it's about.
Yeah, Karen, that makes a ton of sense. Braden and I, we work with people that are close to retirement or already in retirement. And part of that is figuring out, well, how do I get to retirement from a financial perspective? But what we talk about all the time as well is you kind of got to know what you're going to do when you actually do pull the trigger and say, all right, I'm retired. now what's next? What's next in this next stage of my life? And sometimes there is no answer there, or there hasn't been any thought given to how they're going to live out this next section of their life. So I think Live Vibrantly makes a lot of sense, and it's a good thing you're doing there. On your website, Karen, there's a section that talks about 8 pillars that you've come up with. Can you walk us through what those are?
Sure. The reason it's called 8 pillars is that what I realized was that, there are hundreds of things that you can do to stay vibrant. But what I realized was they all sort of fit into 8 different categories. And so the pillars are, of course, exercise and nutrition. You knew that, right? We all have to do that. But then I don't think people understand how important and how even chemically important our attitude is, our perspectives and our ability to accept other perspectives, being connected with other people, the lifestyle, which encompasses a lot of stuff, and purpose and passion, including productivity. Now, productivity matters for business people, but what I've also found in working with baby boomers is that it matters a lot for people who aren't working. And so those are the 8 pillars.
Very nice. So now when you talk about that, because you said that the program is for, you kind of had it around this idea of the baby boomers, which is, Merce and I, we work with, in our financial planning firm, primarily individuals that are close to or already in retirement. And if we break that down into an age, that really is 55 years of age and older. That's kind of the big picture. We have some clients that are outside of those parameters, but that's the most of our clients. So, and you've kind of hit on this, a lot of our clients are transitioning from this work environment. Many of them are business owners and executives who have, had a successful career. And I always talk about, they had decades of working and maybe having this managerial position and overseeing and helping other people and working with other people. And here they are now, all of a sudden one day when they retire, it's like, all that's gone. And now what do I do with life? And the first year is usually pretty easy. I'm going to do a lot of little things. I feel very busy. Then it comes like year 3, 4, and 5. And it's like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with my life? And where's my next phase? What am I going to accomplish now? So how does this help that person? How did your program help do that?
We know from research that having purpose, something that matters to you, gives you the passionate feeling of moving toward accomplishing that purpose. And so it's really important as people transition out of retirement into what they think is going to be just traveling, or that they still need to have a purpose. And I have tools that help people if they don't know what their new purpose is. I have tools that help them determine what that purpose is. And one of them is beginning with the end in mind and then working backwards. And I have a way of working with people so that they can do that once they get, past the 3 years of retirement, and they go, well, now what? Or they find themselves being a little apathetic. And it's really all about staying vibrant, and you need all of these areas to do that. Did I answer your question?
I think you did. I got one little follow up. When you say you've got tools, could you just describe what that means when you say tools? Are you saying like things we can read, think workbooks, worksheets, or just a way to help me kind of organize it? Could you give me an example of what that means when you say tools?
Sure. I have 8 one-hour webinars that go through each of the 8 pillars, but that's a lot for people to bite off. I mean, that tells them everything. If they really want to go to school, they can do the 8 one-hour webinars. But most people don't have that kind of time. They don't want to sit there and do that. So what we've created is every Monday morning for our members, they, in their inbox of their email, they have a 1-minute video of me giving them the tip for that Monday for that week. So in a year, there are 52 of these 1-minute videos, then with, of course, written instructions about what to do. So it's a whole curriculum done in a really fun, uplifting way with a 1-minute video. So it's 52 weeks of that.
Yeah, I was just scrolling through. You have a whole great section on your website called the Monday Minute, and you have, it's very easy to just kind of walk through. And I noticed one that is talking about working backwards. So let's give some of our listeners a little insight as to, well, if you go to the website and you see this video, what is working backwards all about in your mind?
Okay, so I believe that you can do that and should do that with everything. If you're looking for your purpose, then you start with the end of your life and decide what's going to make you so happy when you are ending your life, because you did all of this with your life. Well, you have to figure out what the this is. And so that's really working backwards from the end of life all the way back. But then once you know that, then you want to figure out, well, okay, if that's what I want to do, what do I have to do this year? By the end of this year, what is it that I need to have accomplished in order to be closer to reaching that goal? And then I have a whole tool that it's just a 1-page tool that I give to anybody who wants it, who helps. It helps them go from, okay, the end of the year, now the end of this quarter, now the end of this month, and now I know what to do every week. Now I know what I need to do by Friday this week. And the people really and truly who use this tool, whether they're working or not working, get more accomplished and feel better about their lives and about themselves. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think when I hear that, I think about, because I apply things to, what you do when you go to work or go into business or you're whatever you might be. If let's say you're just a part of a team, we do that all the time. What do we want to look like in 5 or 10 years? And what do we want to look like at the end of the year, at the end of the quarter? And so we're doing that. And then we come back and we say, what do we got to do to accomplish those things? And if we don't think about that, then we don't have any direction. I think that the big thing that we are bringing to people in our conversations with folks that are retiring is just because you did that in business thinking, I'm out of the work force right now, doesn't mean you should stop that type of thinking. It's just now you're doing it based on life. You're saying, hey, what do I want to accomplish? And I mean, we can think about all kinds of things, but okay, it could be this, just go with this scenario. I would like to have this type of relationship, and whatever that is, like you said, that this is your defined with my grandchildren. Well, if I want to have this type of relationship and build these kind of memories, what do I have to do in order to accomplish that? I mean, that could be a simple one, or I want to have a place that we go, or I want to have whatever those things are. How do I accomplish it? And thinking that through and making it a plan. So I think that's extremely powerful. Now, you've mentioned the idea that you have a program. So could you kind of give us an overview of what that looks like? So let's say somebody goes to your website and they say, I want to be a part of this program. And sometimes program can be a lot of different things. Can you tell us what that is, what they get from it,
Sure.
what it's going to help them do in the sense of that program?
Right. The program is, you're referring to when I said the members get to go.
Correct. Absolutely. Yep.
So the members, for very little money, people laugh when I tell them how little of money it costs, and it really just pays for the video person and the IT per person and all of that. The people who are members get to have access to a special private part of the website. And on that are all the Monday minutes that have ever been done. So they have the entire curriculum on there. Plus they keep getting brand new ones every Monday. They also have access to all the broadcasts I've been on, all the podcasts, all the live streams that I've been on, plus a lot of other articles and information resources that we put on there. So really the membership is the curriculum.
Okay.
But as I said, we get to give it to them in little sound bites, little tiny bites. And so what they actually get from being a member is they get to know with explicit instructions, if they choose to, in every area of the 8 pillars: exercise, nutrition, perspective, connectedness, everything that I mentioned. They get to know how to, in little tiny weekly implementation ways, to actually live vibrantly and be fully engaged, alive, happy, healthy, and successful, whatever success means to them, for the rest of their life.
Gotcha. That's great. I think it makes sense to, I mean, you can't tackle that in one day or in 1 month session. It's got to be little things to work on over the course of a period of time. And I think that works great. I'm still, as we're talking here, I just keep scrolling through your website because I think it's just, there's so much here. And one of your other Monday minutes here is talking about the morning mindset. And there's a quote here from Winston Churchill that says, attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. So we've got a couple minutes left, but if you could give us a little bit more insight on what that one's all about, because I think it's pretty intriguing.
Okay, and I can get pretty technical on this, and I don't need to, but really and truly, sometimes people think having a good attitude or a positive attitude is fluff. But since we are so advanced now technologically, and so much has been done in the neuroscience arena, we in Live Vibrantly, in each of the curriculum times that we come about attitude, it's all about helping people grow new neural pathways in their brain, because we are predisposed as human beings to look for the bad so that we can stay alive, but we don't need that anymore. We have houses, we're protected. And so we're not quite evolved enough in our physiology. So we can intentionally change our physiology by the techniques that I give and Live Vibrantly, to see the good in things instead of just seeing the bad in things. And when you see the good in things, when you train your mind, when you actually get a new habit, which is a neural pathway, to see the good, you become a positive person. And it's so funny. Do I have any time to tell you a little story?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's so funny that a friend was showing me an art project that they did many years ago. And there were like 12 different paintings, and each one indicated something. And they said, so what is this? And they were abstract. They said, what does this say to you, Karen? And I would answer, what does this say to you? I would answer, and they went, no one ever has seen that. You think it's something good, and they always see something like a snake or a, why do you always see something good? And it's because I trained my brain to see the good. And so if we do that, then having a positive attitude comes naturally, which makes things like the pandemic not so hard on us.
Right.
Very good. So one of the things that we talked about, and you have put together for any of our listeners that want to, as they're listening to this and say, hey, it sounds interesting, I'd like to get more information, where that they can actually kind of try this out at no real obligation. Could you tell us how that would work?
Yeah. I have a link. Is there a way that you all can get a link out to your listeners?
Yep. So what we're going to have is on our podcast for show notes, as well as on our website for this podcast, any links or any contact website information we'll have in that information for them.
Okay. So you can click on the link that you're going to put, that Braden's going to put on the podcast, and you can get 8 free weeks of the Live Vibrantly. So that means you get one tool each of all the concepts in the pillars, and you can just test it out and see if you might want to become a member.
That's a fantastic way for people to at least kind of get their, hey, is this something that I think I can see of benefit? And if they do, then they can continue it. And I'm sure they'll get information on how to continue it. Yeah.
And also, if they just want a conversation, they can email me at Karen@livevibrantly.life. It's not .com.
Right, right.
Or you can go to my website and just go to the About Karen page, scroll down to the Contact Me, and type me a note, and I'll answer it.
Well, that sounds great, Karen. So for listeners out there, a few different ways to get in touch with Karen or to learn more about her services. Karen, thank you so much for your time today. I know we learned quite a bit here about what Live Vibrantly is and the benefits that it brings to the table. So thanks again for taking some time out of your day to talk to us about it.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
We hope this video has given you some confidence and clarity as you plan for a worry-free life in retirement. But what else do you need? We have created a complimentary video course called 3 Keys to Secure Your Retirement. This video walks you through step by step what you need to do to get ready for retirement. You can also check out our podcast called Secure Your Retirement. You can subscribe below.
For more retirement tips, watch this video. Create your retirement income plan. Also, click here to subscribe to our podcast, Secure Your Retirement. If you like this video, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends.